one major team that we got to talk about, the Denver Nuggets. Very early in the season, they looked like a lost cause. They were in dogfights with one of the worst teams in the NBA on a consistent basis, but they found their footing. Even despite the injuries, like Aaron Gordon being hurt for a majority of the beginning of the season, they found a rhythm now. Julian Strawther's playing well, but I think the main guy we really got to talk about is Russell Westbrook. You know, somebody who's had a lot of dirt thrown on his name, a lot of narratives thrown on his name.
You having a hand in that.
Has not fit the best next to other stars, but when you join the most easy to play with star in the league, and
you just suddenly remember how to shoot the 3-ball.
Russell Westbrook,
nice.
that's not even the big difference because he is shooting well from corners. He's shooting, I think, 48%.
Well, just in general,
corner.
he's actually shooting 34% from 3. What did he shoot last year?
Right, like 20?
29.
Oh.
From the corner, he's shooting 48%. Above the break, he's like below 30%. The major difference in his game is that he's cutting to the basket more.
He's actually finishing
elite
well.
level, yeah.
If you look at
last year, he didn't finish well.
His career high before this season on like his cuts percentage, the percentage of possessions that he cut to the basket, his career high was 3.7. With the Nuggets this year, it's at 9%. 1 out of 10 possessions, he's basically cut into the basket, and Jokic is finding him on that two-man game, and he's having a resurgence right now. Like, Russell Westbrook looks really good, and this Nuggets team, they look really good too. Like, they're finding something right now with what they got, and Jamal Murray's been able to take a step back and be more of a two-guard when Russ has started.
Starting to figure out slowly but surely, but I think the biggest thing for me looking at the Nuggets and looking at the numbers too is they play with pace. They're right now fit. They play at the fifth quickest pace in the association, and a lot of that has to do with him. He's the type of guy that has the high motor, wants to get the ball and move down the court. But you look at Jokic too. Jokic is the guy that's throwing the outlet pass. He's trying to get the easy transition bucket. The fact that you have two of them on the court, essentially a majority of the time, the entire game, that really bodes well into getting easy looks. Now, when you look at it, and you already alluded to it, what has been so essential and crucial to his resurgence, on top of the fact that, yeah, he's shooting the 3-ball a lot better, is the fact that he's getting to the bucket and he's finishing efficiently. That also has to do in part with, obviously, the attention that Nikola Jokic does draw, and it's clear he's still the best player in the world, but Russ being willing to adjust his game yet again to another situation for a new, entirely different role, but not one that he's not comfortable with too, because he does have responsibility on the ball. What also has been great about his game is his defense. His impact on the defensive side, just how active and engaged he is at all times. It's helping what the Nuggets defense, which isn't that great, he's going to shine. But really what's been so great for them has been their offense. And while Jamal Murray hasn't been the most consistent, most efficient version of himself, Russell Westbrook, you look at all the lineups that the Nuggets go out and throw out there, you'll look at the best of them, every single one of them that's great has Russell Westbrook's name attached to it. He's been incredible for them, a nice energy boost for them. And again, when you have that high level of a motor, it's hard to take you out of games and hard to take that drive out of you when you really just nonstop are on go. But when you're playing at this level, it makes it a lot easier for people to gravitate towards you.
Yeah. Jokic said this about him, Riv. I want you to react to this quote. Jokic said this: I love the connection we have because just by looking at him, he knows exactly what I'm thinking. He's a great player. The teams he played for didn't understand him and didn't give him the opportunity to be himself.
Sounds like when you're in a room with your girlfriend, you give her that look like, you know,
it's time.
It's time.
You think he's sending shots?
Does it sound like a shot?
Could be.
I'll let you open that door.
The thing is, the easy shots at the Lakers, throw the shot at the Clippers then.
I think he worked fine with the Clippers.
I mean, he also wasn't good last year.
He just wasn't good. I think that's the difference.
No, I don't think he was himself with the Clippers last year. You know, because
he played.
You got to think about
it.
He was the point guard. Then James Harden got traded there. He had to take a role off the bench. You know, I don't really think he played like himself.
He played defense last year for the Clippers.
No, he did.
Can I say also last part? I want to say what's the reason the Nuggets have been so great. You have Russell Westbrook, who has been known to be this turnover machine, and there's games where he is. Right now, they're second in assist to turnover ratio, and right now, I believe they're 12th in turnover percentage. They take care of the ball. That's also in due part. Nikola Jokic is one of the greatest playmakers of all time, but Russell Westbrook is also playing a hand in how great they are, not just in transition, but in a half court.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is Westbrook is showing how valuable he can be in a potential playoff series. I mean, you have to when you go into a playoff game, if you cannot shoot the 3-ball, you have to find a way to be impactful on the offensive end of the floor. And what Westbrook is doing, being able to cut, being in the right positions for Joker to hit him, being able to up the pace, being able to, move the ball and create open looks for these, maybe, I won't say shooters, but guys that, can hit the 3-ball and being able to get them out in transition. He's making himself look much more favorable in the playoff series. Because what has been the problem for Westbrook in the past? It's never really been about the regular season for Westbrook. It's been about the playoffs and how sometimes he becomes unplayable because of his lack of a jumper or his very poor decision making in key situations, where in the playoff game there's a lot more nuances to it. You don't get the same margin for error as you do in an 82 game season, and Westbrook in the playoffs sometimes tends to make those bad decisions. So now you're playing with the best player in the world. So those moments where you have to make those key decisions, they don't really go on you now. They really go to the Joker, and the Joker, we can all agree, is one of the best in the game at that, making timely decisions in the clutch, in the playoffs. That's the guy. So now you're playing off of him. He tells you where to go. Your main job is to just finish the play. And Westbrook has shown that this year, that he's been finishing at a higher rate. I think last year, for me, watching a shit ton of Clippers games, I think the problem for him was he was terrible in the finishing department. Like, he just could not finish. Like, it was layups he used to be able to convincingly make. He was just missing. The jumper was completely gone. So he was realistically a negative offensive player, but defensively, he gave you that effort. So you have to, he gives you that energy that's kind of infectious, and it goes throughout all the teammates. So you have to keep him on the floor. And I think for Denver, that's been that. Now, I do feel like Westbrook did get some slack with the Lakers. At the same time, you got to kind of put it on him too. Like, he didn't really adjust his game with LeBron and AD, but they didn't adjust. It was just a weird, we all knew it was a funky ass fit. We all knew the fit was always going to be wacky. I don't put it all on Westbrook, but I don't put it all on the Lakers too. So I think, he's just in the right place right now, and I think he's happy. You can see it. The Joker wanted him this summer for a reason.
Shout out to Yoke.
Yep. He knew.
He did. We were talking shit on him.
Le GM is Yoke GM, baby.
We were talking. Well, I was saying how his big thing was, hey, go get me Russ. That's really what I want. I'm sorry.
Denver to me is a sleeping giant. The way they've been playing recently.
You scared of him?
Aaron Gordon. I mean, I think everyone should be scared of them. I think
you though.
Jokic's the best in the world.
I'm just asking.
I think everyone should be scared of them, though.
Now, did you not see the breakdown that he had on the TL yesterday? No. You didn't?
No.
Bro, he was basically saying it's done. We're not winning. We're not winning this year. It's over.
They have never felt ass. Like, you've never had ass moments throughout the season. It's like
not
last
what
year. What do they have? 11 losses.
Who?
The Celtics?
No. We're
20-10, right?
Oh shit, do we actually? I don't know.
Yeah, I know they don't lose.
Nah, because we're 14-10 over our last 24.
Bro's hurting because they're over 500.
Bro.
They're 31-13.
31-13.
Oh, excuse me. I was 2 off. He is gassing it.
Riv, at the end of November, we were 16-3. We're 14-10 since then. It's not the end of the world, but we got Celtics fans, and I understand why we're talking about the Nuggets, but I understand why people get mad at Celtics fans, right? And I'm gonna talk my shit and be arrogant, Larry this, Larry that, whatever. At the end of the day, I still feel like I'm pretty realistic about Boston, right? Like last year when we lost to the fucking Hawks back to back, when we lost to the Lakers without AD and LeBron, I was like, it's gonna be fine, like whatever, bro, like it's okay. This year, this team just fucks around too much, and maybe it's hangover, whatever. We'll talk about another day. We'll talk about Denver right now. They're sleeping giants to me, though, because I feel like they've struggled the most this year when Aaron Gordon hasn't been playing. When he's been healthy, they're 15-7. They have been, win percentage-wise, one of the best teams in the NBA. Russell Westbrook obviously had a big part in that, but I feel like we've talked a lot this year about OKC, and deservedly so, Houston deservedly so, Memphis deservedly so, and Denver, for the most part, it feels like they're flying under the radar because they've been kind of hovering around the 4 seed. They never went on this like 10-0 stretch where they were playing just out of this world good, although Jokic has been SGA's MVP, but Jokic, bar for bar, has been just as good, if not better player than SGA.
Like, if they had the
this
same
year.
Seeding, Jokic would be MVP.
Absolutely, yeah. So
I'm with that.
They feel like a sleeping giant to me just because you do have the best player in the world, in my opinion, Nikola Jokic, I think in many people's opinion. Jamal Murray, who had an up and down season, but I think overall you have to be encouraged from where he was at the start of the season, maybe at the end of last year's playoffs. And Russell Westbrook, who I definitely shit on, not the only one, but My biggest concern with him, and he hasn't proven it yet, is in a playoff series when it is 7 games, how are teams going to adjust? Because game to game, when you have 82 games, it's hard to really sit down and game plan for, right? Like, you're going to have your adjustments, but you have back-to-backs. There's just not enough time in the day to really game plan for a specific team when you got 4 games going on during that week. But the fact that he has been such a great off-ball player, the fact that the two-game game has been so elite between Jokic and Russell Westbrook, you have to have all of the hope in the world if you're a Nuggets fan right now that this is going to work in the playoffs. Because up until now, they have given you no reason not to think that. And Nikola Jokic, as dominant as he is in the regular season, goddamn, it feels like he takes it to another level in the playoffs. So if he's doing this right now with all of the injuries they've had, with some of the inconsistent play that they've had, especially from Jamal Murray, they're the sleeping giant out west to me. We can talk about Dallas and the health that they've had. We can talk about OKC. But you're telling me you're going to get a healthy Nuggets team with Russell Westbrook fitting into this offense, one of the best coaches in basketball with Mike Malone. This is a team that nobody's talking about in the grand scheme of things, but I would not be surprised they match up OKC. They could beat OKC. They could beat any team in the West because you have Jokic, and this fit right now with Westbrook has been almost seamless.
The last thing I'll mention is their young players are like, they've all played well.
Yep.
Christian Brown, Julian Strawther, Peyton Watson, they have all developed in the way that you want them to develop.
Christian Brown's been awesome this season, no doubt.
And Strawther is averaging 10 points and shooting very great from three.
There's a lineup that has, I think it's like 100 possessions, if I'm not mistaken, but they're at a point differential of plus 50. I wonder if that's just a game that they just were out there and they just were dominated.
Plus 50 probably.
it's with Russ, Julian Strawther, I think it is Christian Brown, Aaron Gordon, I want to say, and Yoke. 100 possessions,
probably
plus 50-point differential. Probably. Yeah. But, dude, that I saw, that's the 100th percentile lineup. That one right there.
Yeah, we talked about it, man. Like, this team, the starting 5, we felt we were comfortable with. You know, we felt like Christian Brown would seamlessly fit with this team. It was just about what can they get off the bench. And Westbrook and Strawther have given you that kind of dynamic punch off the bench. Payne Watson, you know, he's still giving you A+ defense. So that's always something you want from him. He's such an energy guy. But for me, Westbrook and Strawther, you know, has really been the glue guys off the bench that kind of what you need to go into a playoff series.
Dude, it's nuts, actually. 114 possessions, which isn't a lot, but it isn't a little. They are at a point differential of plus 50. Russell Westbrook, Christian Brown, Julian Strawther, Michael Porter Jr., good shit, Nikola Jokic. They're in the 100 percentile in differential, 100 percentile in points per possession, 150 actually. They don't turn the ball over, 7.9%. They're getting offensive rebounds. Their defense is in the 87th percentile, 100 points per possession. This lineup is easily their best, and it's sad because obviously Jamal Murray is not included.